welcome back to this very special tiebreaker edition of the OPL. My name is Michael Hingersing, and I'm joined here at the desk by Raz and Rusty. Guys, we just saw Tainted Minds pull back their second match of the three-way tie. We're now about to see Abyss versus Avant-Garde. Let me start with you, Rusty. I want to talk about the decision-making that Abyss kind of illustrated in that last match. Do you think that's going to be relevant in going into this game 3?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the problems that Abyss had in that particular game was they defaulted to no, and that's in a situation where Tainted Minds are very hesitant as a team. They did have the Cassiopeia, though, and they're always going to go for these objectives, and something had happened. Abyss would be like, we could fight here. Should we fight here? They just say no and walk away. Maybe look for that 50-50 late-game team fight. That never came around, and Tainted Minds ran away with it.
Right, and like Tainted Minds, that one time they messed up and looked to siege the mid turret and they got picked off. That's something that should happen with Abyss's pressure. So like, if Abyss do this again, if they go, like, of course they're going up against Avant, right?
Yep.
If they default to no, especially when they have Sivir and Gragas, when they can create their own plays, then I would say it's a foregone conclusion.
So just to give a bit of a top-down view of this right now, if Avant beat Abyss in this game, Avant go through to the semifinals. If Abyss win in this game, then they will do it all again in 3 more rounds, right? Now, Rad, so you're, as someone who picked Tainted Minds to take that 4th semifinal spot, you were probably barracking for Abyss to win this game, right, to prevent Avant taking that. Is that your mentality right now?
I mean, sometimes plans don't go, like, theoretically, that's how it should work out. But, I mean, Tainted Minds, I've had them winning the last game, right?
Yeah.
But after seeing Avant in game 1,
right,
that was just, I think it's
I mean, how does it kind of affect it that the Avant are now rested? I mean, rested. They've had 45 minutes, an hour where they've not been playing. They've watched probably these games on stream
Oh, they
now.
definitely have, yeah.
So going into this game, Abyss versus Avant, how are Avant feeling right now? Do they feel confident because they're rested and up on win?
Yeah, and they barely showed a single strategy, right? So they just got a Malzahar and 5 of the best champions in the best team composition God's ever created. They were just so happy they just got lovingly gifted a victory. Now they can come into this game. Not only have they seen Abyss lose, they might understand how to beat that Abyss roster and the mentality issues that they're currently going through. They can just pick the same thing, and if it's not banned from them, they can actually reveal a strategy.
So what do you want to see from Abyss right now then, Rad?
Well, even going to that point, right? No, like even off that point, Abyss having lost that game, going to this game, right? That might be a little bit of an unfortunate point for them. Like that's like mentally that might be a little bit straining. So what I do want to see from Abyss is it's not a composition thing. That was a great composition from them. They just need, it's a mental point. Take the fights that are given to you. Don't walk away from them.
But it's hard for them as well, though, because they were just playing Tainted Minds and a different Tainted Minds roster to what we saw in that first Tainted Minds game, right? So they probably prepared for that. It got switched up on them again midway through. I mean, even though during the week they were, it's all about mental preparation, right? But now they're playing against, they know exactly what to expect in this game. So they can be a little bit more calm, a little bit more centered, do you think, Rusty?
Yeah, definitely a little bit more calm in that respect. The big thing for me, though, is that the difference between Tainted Minds and Avant needs to be noted, right? So I think that AV actually fight for everything that you have. There's always pressure around the map. They will actually just try and take you out through laning phase. Abyss, once again, their mentality was being challenged. If they're just going to sit back and take it, then they're going to lose through laning phase, which is once again where AV excel. And that's a completely different thing for them to deal with opposed to their last game.
All right, well, let's kind of talk predictions now. Raz, I know you want AV to not beat Abyss right now, so that Tainted Minds can maintain that. That's a hope for that semifinal spot. But that's what your heart says. But what does your head say in terms of this match we're about to go into?
My head and my heart just goes towards smart plays, and I think that that's what it comes down to. And if Avant is playing like a smart team and they have the players to do it, then it goes to Avant.
All right, and Rusty, what are your predictions for this game?
It's really hard not to say that AV win this one. Shelby's popping off, and I believe in Paradise again.
So you're saying AV take this, then they take that spot in the semifinals. Just to recap as well, if Abyss win this, then we go it all again. We could be here all night. Who knows? That's enough from us now. Let's throw over to our casters for this game. It's Fish and Spawn.
Thank you very much, Hingers. Spawn, there is that possibility that you and I could be casting another 3 sets if we do see Abyss pick up the game here.
Is that how it works? I thought I got thrown off after this, but they were like, 2 is your limit, get Rusty back in here. But, as I said, I could do this all night. Like, just keep sending us around. Looking forward to see Abyss bounce back.
Well, let's see if they can, because Avant-Garde, they're definitely looking to try and fight to keep their playoff dreams alive by picking up the game here. If they do, they get that fourth and final seed to go into the OPL playoffs.
Yeah, they certainly do. And, look, Avant was my pick when I was on the analyst desk. Of course, now I'm a caster, completely unbiased. But I think that they do really have a good setup against these teams. I think that playing through Paradise, playing through Triple, sets them apart with a very good top half of the map. And Chelby is just... He's been around for ages. People know that he's just a classy jungler at this point. So, once again, a lot of pressure on the likes of Pac-Man, Seb, and Luch.
And unfortunately, now Tainted Mind's going to be rooting for the team that they just took down, which is Abyss, because if Abyss can pick up this game, it means that their playoff dreams are kept alive as well as we head into Champions Select for the third match of this three-way tiebreaker. And already Vladimir is going to be banned out by Avant.
Yeah, so they take away one of the best farming junglers in the Vladimir. Looks like they want to try and go towards a Malzahar pickup again. Early Vlad bans generally signify that just because he shoved you in early, and as Malzahar, you don't like that treatment.
Certainly don't. Abyss, on the other hand, have other things in mind as they take away Triple's Twisted Fate.
Yeah, so getting rid of a Twisted Fate pickup, making sure that, there's not going to be a 1-3-1 at any stage, also gets rid of a lot of catch potential. What Rusty was just talking about then, the decision of no-go that was coming out of Abyss gets very hard to call when there's a Twisted Fate lining up objectives, so see whether that does work. Another ban that counters Malzahar, by the way, Fish. That's going to be a Victor.
So Victor does get taken away by Avant. So 3 very heavy mid lane bans coming up from these two teams so far.
Yeah, we're in Oceania. What the heck? We got if one role goes deep in Oce, it is the mid lane position.
And it just continues as Malzahar gets banned out spawn.
Yeah, well, that's not a surprise. I mean, Malzahar is probably the strongest champion on the current patch. And good to see it get taken off the board. Triple used it to great effect to continually pick Zahi when he was playing that Elise, and Shelby was right there behind him to provide all the backup needed.
So we'll have to wait and see what the final bans from these two teams are going to be. So far, it's been a trend of mid laners getting picked off one by one as it just continues, with Azir being the third and final ban from Avant-Garde.
So once again, I made this comment, and I talked to the guys backstage a lot, I mean, like Raz, Rusty, Frosco, about how teams set up with different picks. And I really do believe that Azir makes Abyss a more structured lineup. They know how to play going forward with Azir. Luch can make some aggressive pickups, and they also know how to play going backwards. In saying that, the last time a team targeted Luch this hard, it was the Chiefs. He picked up Orianna against them and completely destroyed them. So interested to see what the young mid laner has in store for us.
Well, let's see as the final ban that does come out from Abyss is finally not a mid laner, which is Fiora being taken away from Paradise. But Avant do lock in their mid lane pick with Cassiopeia picked up immediately.
So now I'm thinking about it. So Cassio definitely a strong pickup, lends itself to team fighting. Triple is a fantastic young mechanical player. However, it is one of those picks that can get punished a little bit by range. And I call them 550 comps. If you pick up something like a Cassiopeia, a Lucian, or maybe a Sivir, no one in your team really extends past that 500 range. I said it about the Chiefs comp as well. So you need to take a jungler like Nidalee or something to get down and dirty and scrappy with. Interesting to see that they're willing to commit so hard, however, to the last powerful mage.
Let's see what Avant used to complement the Cassiopeia. That was their first pick later on in their draft. Still waiting for Abyss to pick up their first 2 picks. Let's see what they decide to lock in, as they looked like they were going to go for a Jinx, but no, just going to be the Jhin and Braum. So locking in their bottom lane as their first 2 picks.
Yeah, so a really powerful bottom lane right now. I mean, Braum, as we said, great at going forward and backwards. Jhin fights incredibly well through windows that Braum provides. Also, Jin's day is kind of ruined by Braum that we saw a lot last game. So being able to pick them both up at the same time. And it denies kind of the Gragas pick from Chelby because it gets rid of all that initiation threat. So really like the pick up there out of T-Gun to go back to the champion. Raid and T-Gun played last game perfectly fine. I think it was more of a shot calling decision that cost them the game. So happy to see them stick to Comfort.
Sticking with the same bottom lane going into their match against Avant-Garde. You already mentioned during that last game how a lot of teams have been prioritizing the Braum as one of their first 2 picks. Abyss continuing that trend, as Avant can be picking up Rek'Sai and Karma as their next 2 picks.
So Jakey going back to a Karma pickup, it looks like, unless Paradise is going to play a sneaky Cassio.
Or a sneaky Karma.
Come on, mate. Let's not go too crazy. But Shelby, Rek'Sai, I mean, that makes sense. Big power farming jungler, scale up. You can even pick up a Titanic Hydra if you want to towards the latter stage of the game and do some damage. So understand where he's coming from. Interested in Luch's pick, however. Do you go towards something like the Oriana? I don't know. Do they have anything else up their sleeve? Diana would be risky, but ballsy is all heck.
One of the signature picks for Sin, I believe. Rymeister likes to pick that one up in the mid lane. We'll have to see what Abyss decide to pick up, as Tahm Kench is going to be the lock-in of choice. So that should be a top lane Tahm Kench, as well as the Elise as their jungler of choice, and saving their mid lane pick for last.
It will be a top lane Tahm Kench. It means the team is lacking slightly in damage fish because of Jin's windows that he plays around. However, I know that you know this incredibly well. Tahm Kench can be difficult to lane against. So we'll see what Paradise wants to take into what is a very nullifying lane.
Not sure what you're talking about, Spawn. I destroy any single Tahm Kench that decides to come near me.
You went
Which is
0-4
evident
and won
with my
the game.
victory.
Yep. It's disgusting.
Thank you, Carbon.
Carbon carrying Legacy to first place and Fish to High Diamond.
Still waiting for Avant-Garde to pick up their final 2 picks. Should be their AD carry and most likely a top laner, unless we see something crazy coming out from the flex pick they got with the Karma.
Yeah, and you know, we saw slightly a ribbon there. We're not going to see it at all. We're going to see an Aurelia picked up one more time for Paradise.
We are going to get the Sipper for Chenny Boy.
Now I'm trying to think about how this matchup goes, because I haven't seen much Tahm Kench into Aurelia. I mean, Tahm Kench's kit is loaded with CC, slow stun, as well as the eat, whatever the heck that is. Has a mini stun at the end of it as well. So, Aurelia's passive going to come in handy. I also just love the fact that, you know, now they've gone into a commit dive team. You know, they've got double speed up there, out of the Karma, out of the Sivir. And it's pretty much send everyone in. They're great at going forward, great at going backwards. And depending on how Paradise builds, they might even have a split push advantage.
You did mention earlier, you know, teams that normally pick up the Cassiopeia tend to go for something that extends through that range. Seems like they're just using movement speed to compensate for that. As Abyss pick up a very long-range champion for Luch, which is going to be Varus in the mid lane.
Yeah, so an opposite comp out of Luch. We'll call this a long arms comp where I'm from, Fish. You got 2 of the longest range AD carries in the game going toe-to-toe, as well as a lot of save. I mean, Tahm Kench can eat one of them. Seb is very good at kiting backwards and getting out himself, as well as that big unbreakable. So you can see exactly what Abyss's comp wants to do. Pretty much what we saw out of last game. Set up, siege, knock down turrets. However, a lot of wave clear, a lot of dive, and hard initiation. When AV go, they will go in this game. It's going to be interesting to see whether Abyss can send us around one more time.
Contrast of styles here. Abyss, like you said, trying to fight for the right for both Abyss and Tainted Minds to keep their playoff dreams alive. On the flip side, Avant-Garde, with a win here, they secure the 4th and final spot heading into semi-finals next week.
Yeah, pressure on the Avant-Garde lineup. I mean, we talked about the veterans in Tainted Mind, so it's only fair to give a shout out to Chelby and what he's managed to do with the organization that he's playing for now. We'll see whether they're able to get it done in this game.
We're about to head on to Summoner's Rift. Use the hashtag AVWin or the hashtag AEWin, depending on which team you want to pick up this game. Abyss, if you want to see another round robin here, or Avant-Garde if you want to send them into that final spot in the OPL semi-finals.
Yeah, so we'll see who's able to get it done here. 2 contrasting team styles coming together, a very long-range, pokey siege comp coming out of the Abyss lineup. Pretty much just an all-in kitchen sink comp coming out of Avant-Garde. They play League of Legends pretty much one way. We keep saying it. That's get in there, get down and dirty. So interested to see how they can pull this one together.
And they did just that in their first match against Tainted Minds to pick up the victory. Abyss going to be trying to bounce back from their defeat against Tainted Minds in that last match. And we're going to head on to Summoner's Rift for the 3rd match of this round robin for the 3-way tiebreaker between Abyss and Avant. As Abyss looking to try and group up towards the bottom side of the jungle here. Jakey spots them out by throwing out the
king. Oh, the gold. Oh, and then he gives 10 back. Come on, Jakey.
There's some experience as well, so benefit of the trade going to Abyss.
No, definitely not. He got all 3 procs, mate. I don't want to hear it. 10 gold versus pretty much 30 at that point in the game. That is a huge win.
And we can take a look at the Keystone Masteries very quickly. Varus and Jin both opting for the Deathfire Touch, so lots of poke coming out from them.
So the reason that's even more important is when you play double AD carry compositions, you know, there is a danger late game for it to be, you know, a little bit hard to take out tanks. Deathfire Touch is magic damage. And both of these guys are just going to build, like, you know, a lot of AD and shoot through. And then the tick of the magic damage actually, you know, really helps out damage late game. So it means that even if Paradise or Chelby go full armor, it's not going to be overbearing.
We saw Avant actually deep invade towards the red side of the jungle. So did Abyss. So they do have their lane swap wards put out and ready. So they will actually spot out Karma and Siva moving down towards the bottom side of the map. And Abyss opt to go straight back into that lane. So they're going to match the lane using Jin and Braum.
And once again, Jin's just a fantastic laner. Eventually, Siva will make you play against the lane. But for now, the Jin and Braum should be completely fine. And even if they get Seb down there early, who is a very good janking jungler, he's going to be able to pick up some early kills.
Both AD carries and support starts on a camp at level 1. So we can see the race for level 2, which is actually taken by Raid and gets so much damage down on towards the Siva to start things off.
You hate to see it, Fish. That is so much damage, and what should have been a completely fine lane is now going to be so difficult for Chenny Boy to stick around in. I mean, one thing about having a Targon's user is you do get some of that health back as he shoves in the wave. You can see the T-Gun keeping Raid nice and topped off, and same cannot be said across the other side of Summoner's Rift.
Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, Paradise and Pac-Man going toe-to-toe. The acquired taste gets down from Pac-Man onto the Aurelia.
And ever since we gave him it from level 1 pick, he does a ridiculous amount of damage. Like, let's not beat around the bush. The guy hits way too hard for a KEYSTONE. Even though he is slightly bigger than his Queensland cousins, I mean, it's just not right now.
Well, let's see if Pac-Man can use that to his advantage as Seb looking to try and take down his own blue buff. Shelby had a thought about going in for the steal. Doesn't have a smite though after taking down the Roof Scuttle.
Yeah, Seb also, just chilled out, pulled it back to the brush, made sure that he was in nice control of that one. This Paradise trying to zone Pac-Man. You don't want to be et though, mate. Trust me.
Tongue lash straight in towards the Aurelia, blocking the minion, but Pac-Man hits level 3 off of taking it down.
So we did take away some power from the early shield. Means that you can actually kill him now if he doesn't manage to kill you first. Up his damage quite significantly in response, however. That's why you'll see a little bit more Palm Kench running around Summoner's Rift.
You can already see Pac-Man's used all of his corrupting potions. Paradise still has one available up at the top side of the map and pushed in that wave quite nicely towards his turret. As we move back down towards the bottom lane, things have kind of evened out between the two, even in terms of CS. Both AD carries back to full health, yet to use their biscuit, but Shelby making his way top, looking for a gank towards Pac-Man. He gets slowed down, is getting a little bit of grey health. Tongue lash on towards Shelby will get the acquired taste down, but that's a lot of damage back down towards the Tom Kench.
It is a lot of damage, but look how much he does in response at the same time. I mean, he's going to have to back off this wave, potentially recall and teleport back in to catch a huge minion wave, but you can see Pac-Man, even with some early attention, is not really all that worried about it, I guess.
The response coming out from Seb means he heads down towards the bottom side of the jungle, takes away Shelby's Krugs.
Oh, they're actually looking... No, they're not. They pinged it briefly, and then Pac-Man pinged it as well, and now we're all fine on the top side of the map. So not really much happening there. See whether a gank does come down on the bottom side of the rift.
Pac-Man did use his teleport to get up towards the top lane. Paradise still has his available, as at least now looking to try and wrap around Chenny Boy and Jakey.
So the correct way to go for this gank is wait for the creep wave to crash. So you see that Seb is doing that right now. It gives him a window to be able to get in there. Here we go. Oh.
Chenny Boy does get sped up and spots Seb as he runs away from the Jin and Braum.
Yeah, Chenny Boy ran straight at the Elise, and the Elise ran away from him. It was like they thought that they knew that he was there. Instead, just a CS advantage, going to go over to Raid and T-Gun right now. Nothing new here. They were able to pick one up over Lost and Rosie last game also, so continuing a strong laning there.
Let's see if they can keep doing that.
Oh, T-Gun, that's just hard. He's one of the, he's someone that will shield creeps on Janna. Nice, Jake. He likes to deny creep.
Doing a good job so far on the Braum. Something we mentioned earlier, as Pac-Man did use his teleport to get to the top lane. Paradise opted not to in response, so a teleport advantage for Avant-Garde for the next few minutes.
Yeah, so he just puts it up there. I mean, that's a good team-wide decision. It's something that we talked about, out of Pac-Man last game, is that even though early teleport used by Praetor, that he matched it and kind of put his team at a slight disadvantage because of that. Like to call out of Paradise. His teleports, however, have notoriously been quite poor. It's one of the things that Paradise does really need to improve to push the upper echelons of top lane talent in Oceania. The likes of Tally and Chippy, as well as people like Swiper have just been around for so long. So if Paradise can ever do that, get his team play and his teleport play perfect, should be able to increase that ceiling.
Well, let's see if he can do that. Starting off with this game. He does have that teleport advantage for now. Pac-Man actually using his ultimate to try and get towards the mid lane. Triple's flash and cleanse was burnt during that engagement.
Yeah, it certainly was, and you can see that Paradise was freezing out top lane, so not really all that much. Lost for Pac-Man to take a little bit of a detour. There was only 3 ranges left, so it'll slowly push back in the other direction. Unfortunately, not enough to keep it there. So I like the proactive play.
You can actually see Chelby now trying to make his way towards the bottom side of the map. Raid and Tegan in a lot of trouble. The flash gets both of them knocked up. Tegan puts up the door trying to lock them down. He's going to get stunned up by Jakey, but just summoner spells being burnt by Raid to get away from the gank.
But a lot of summoner spells, I mean, they get double there for only the flash out of Chelby. Fantastic gank, got both members of the Abyss bottom lane. Now relatively low, going to have to be very careful as this creep wave is pushing against them.
So lots of proactiveness coming out from Chelby so far, but it's still a dead even game between Abyss and Avant-Garde. It's up on the top side of the map. Paradise and Pac-Man still trading back and forth.
Actually, steal the cannon.
Getting stunned up by Paradise. Doesn't get too much of a trade though.
No, and as I said, Pac-Man's going to be incredibly durable while still putting out some damage. I can match the split push relatively well, so I don't think that Pac-Man is like, if he falls 10, maybe even 15 creeps down, he's not going to worry. Luke's in trouble.
Shelby actually going to be able to lock him down. Triple doesn't get the stun with a Petrifying Gaze, but slows him down and gets the Twing Fang off to get first blood in the mid lane.
And we talked about this earlier, Fish. If you're going to burn summoner spells, burn them early. You burnt the Ghost as soon as you saw him come over the wall. Of course, that grounder came out very quickly from Triple, but there was a window where he could have escaped that one. Early kill going over to the Cassiopeia means big danger signs
Certainly
for
does.
Abyss.
And it also gives Avant-Garde the first gold lead in the game. They're about 800 gold up ahead of Abyss. First blood from Triple means he's gone back to base, picked up the tier. He also has the Lost Chapter. Looking for his Morellonomicon as his next item pickup. Luch still looking for the components of his Mana Mune.
Shelby is stalking Seb here.
Did spot him out with the Tremor Sense. Seb goes down and puts a ward on towards the Dragon buff. And Shelby gets a sneaky ward over the wall to spot out the blue buff too.
Yeah, now Jakey is here as well. See how many more members they bring to try and cut this one off. Looks like they just want Luch, but they're pinging in. They know they are there.
Let's see what they can do as Luch actually getting locked down by Triple here. The ultimate, they come out to try and stop them from advancing on towards the Varus teleport. Coming up from Paradise in the backlines as Tiga's taking a lot of damage. Has to flash away, but does get taken out by Triple. Paradise in the backlines takes down one. He's going to give the other one to Jakey. Pac-Man's here as well, but he's getting jumped on by 4 members of Avant-Garde, forced to flash away, and it's a 1-for-3 trade.
And as I was criticizing his teleport play, Paradise gets one right. Pac-Man does not follow straight away, and they've brought 5 members to the party and are able to clean house pretty much. 3 members dead for just the one, and Avant-Garde 2k up.
And already on the right track if they want to try and take that final semi-final spot here, Avant-Garde. Looking strong as we go through a replay of this one, Spawn.
Yeah, so Luch has no summoner spells. He just got ganked, so he has to ult too. But this is the teleport I was talking about. It completely cuts off the retreat, and Pac-Man does not follow until now. Paradise is already there, wreaking havoc. Picks up a couple of kills, and then Pac-Man just has to flash to safety.
Unfortunately, coming out from Abyss there, as like we mentioned, now 2,000 gold behind. Shelby actually trying to take away a few Raptor cans here. Luch trying to chase him off with that one, but he just takes a tunnel, gets to safety.
Yeah, it doesn't really do all that much damage to Shelby at this stage of the game. Needs to work on that a little bit more.
And actually take a look at the mid lane. Triple is 3-0-1 with the Morellonomicon picked up. That Cassiopeia is going to be scary. Shelby now trying to make his way towards the top side of the map. Was spotted out by a ward, but Pac-Man doesn't really care about it all too much. There's no flash available for this time catch. He does get locked down by the knock-up, slowed up by Paradise as well, but he just waddles away towards the turret.
Yeah, I think we covered this one already. He's very hard to kill, the old Cane Toad. So just going to wander around a little bit more.
This does signal time for Abyss to try and take down this Ocean Dragon, with Rek'Sai being on the top side of the map. So they are down in goal, but do get an objective for themselves.
Yeah, better call, you know. Pick up something for something. We're losing pressure on the top side of the map. Looks like Pac-Man was being set up to be dove. So let's go get the dragon and get the advantage back a little bit. Ray's going to be able to clean up CS. Seb does some counter jungling on the way past. So at least Abyss, even though they've fallen down in this game, looking for some proactive plays.
They do get the Ocean Dragon. Unfortunately for this, RNG not too much on this side, with Cloud Dragon being the next one to come back up.
And see, this is another good move. I mean, they see that Jake has rotated away to try and cut off Seb's counter jungling.
They do lock him down, and they use the Ghost coming out from Luch. Jake just flashes away, takes half his health and damage, but gets to safety.
Yeah, but once again, gets the Summoner spell out as well as an ultimate there. Is backing on a ward, so needs to be careful.
Arrow coming out from Luch forces him to move back deeper towards his turret to get back to base. Triple is just going to continue pushing out against Luch here. Gets some good trades down towards the Cassiopeia, misses the arrow there.
Yeah, put in the hard work of, you know, positioning well around the creep wave and then just whiffs it, but the idea is right for Luch right now, and he's still keeping up in CS even though the Cassiopeia is massive.
Curtain Call actually coming out to try and lock down Chenny Boy, but only the second ult's going to connect. The third one misses. He's going to get locked down by Seb and T-Gun. The crit comes out, but now Seb in a little bit of trouble. Has to repel away. Chenny goes straight back towards the turret and escapes a 3-man gank.
Yeah, able to live through it. You can see that Jake is now here. T-Gun Seb too low to really push for a dive. So huge amount expended there. Double ultimate cooldown burnt as well as the exhaust, and nothing really picked up.
And at the same time, Avantgarde sent 3 members towards the mid lane. Luch has to go back to base. Triple's going to continue pushing on towards the mid lane outer turret. Get some good damage on towards it. Now 3 members strong, moving in towards Abyss's side of the jungle. They take away the red buff. Pac-Man is trying to move around to try and contest that one. But we'll back away as Avantgarde set their sights towards Rip Herald.
One more time, this is still a dangerous play. Herald does a lot of damage at this stage of the game. However, they have got good vision set up around it, and there doesn't look like there is going to be a response out of Abyss Esports.
Triple is now trying to chase down Luch, doesn't get the Petrifying Gaze to stun him up. Now it's going to be the Tahm Kench getting in behind them. The flash away from Triple gets into safety. If Jakey gets obliterated by Seb.
And they're still going on it. I mean, they've only just taken it down, but that blows the whistle of where 2 members are at least, and they're looking to siege down this mid lane turret.
Already down towards half health here, Spawn, as 5 members strong. Abyss are going to be able to take down the first structure of the game, which will be that mid lane outer turret.
And it brings that gold back within 1,300. I mean, it's artificially inflated now for sure, because they will eventually catch back up. However, this siege comp can start to roll around the map as a 5-man unit now, and maybe try and knock down some structures.
It certainly can, as Abyss now looking to try and move towards the bottom side of the map. T-Gun and Ray just taking down a couple of pink wards.
T-Gun was like, help me with mine. Raid was like, I literally have 1 bullet left. You're on your own.
But Avant now send the members back towards their original lane setup. With Paradise picking up that Rift Herald, means he can split push quite effectively. In fact, he's 35 CS up ahead of Pac-Man at the moment.
Yeah, you already Flame Horizon Kratos today. Looking to add Pac-Man to that list. Paradise definitely cannot question how good this guy is mechanically. Whiff happens there.
Both the Winter Smite as well as the captive audience doesn't come out from Abyss. Have to try and back away here. T-Gun trying to soak up as much damage as possible. Avant have their eyes set on towards the turrets.
T-Gun actually withstands that punishment incredibly well. Seb is now in the area, but hats off to the wily old veteran T-Gun for dispelling much of that aggression.
He's a strong man and he's playing a strong champion here against Avantgarde. They're still looking to try and push. Chenny Boy just shoving the wave on towards Raid and T-Gun wherever he possibly can. Shelby now making his way towards the mid lane, trying to see what he can do there. Triple just clearing out a couple of pink wards. He's gone back to base and picked up the needlessly large rod for himself. And Manamune finally completed for Luch.
They know no flash available right now for Triple. He's a little bit overextended, so Pac-Man wanted to get sneaky fish.
Well, Paradise does find Pac-Man here, gets a lot of damage down with that hits and style. The stun came out as well. Pac-Man gonna have to pop that grey health shortly. He is living with about 300 at the moment. Doesn't get stunned up, but does get slowed. Seb's moving up towards the top side of the map. Luch's gonna lock him down. Shelby goes over the top. Pac-Man goes forward, but Paradise follows him. Now Luch is in trouble as a double kill comes out from Paradise. Seb running for the hills and for the safety of his outer turret in the top lane as Avant pick up 2 picks.
And Paradise is popping off. I mean, right now he's 3-0-1. He's an absolutely huge Aurelia, and there is no one on the map that can go with him. Pac-Man just gets chased down and stepped on, and Paradise going to look to equal up that turret trade.
Exactly that. They're already 2,000 gold ahead, and you mentioned that the gold was artificially inflated for Abyss. That's not going to be much longer, or is it, as Pac-Man actually trying to teleport towards the top side of the map. Paradise chunks it down to about a quarter of its health, but the teleport does save the turret. once again, teleport advantage for Avant-Garde.
Yeah, it certainly is, but I get mid lane turret in the meantime. And now they're just setting up for another gank onto Pac-Man.
He's in trouble. He's going to get jumped on by both Chelby and Paradise. He's trying to run for the kills. Paradise slows him down. He gets over the wall. Chelby's still chasing, but lives to fight another day.
I think that this is just where you set up the dive, right? Chelby is going to go back to base. Maybe feels it's a little bit too telegraphed.
Well, Pac-Man is now 40 CS behind Paradise, who has picked up his Trinity Force, looking for his Merc Threads next. Dragon's going to be coming back up in 7 seconds, but that's just a Cloud Dragon as Chelby uses his ultimate to try and get closer towards his jungle camps. Jakey and Chenny Boy being aggressive towards Raid. The flash forward comes out from Jakey to lock him down and slows him down as well with the exhaust. Chenny Boy throwing the boomerangs at him one by one, heals up and gets sped up and takes him down. Luch now looking for some punishment on towards the Silver. They go toe-to-toe, but this is definitely in favor of the Varus, who's going to be able to pick up a return kill for Abyss.
Yeah, so able to grab the kill there. However, the trade does come across, and they've already rotated people into that bottom lane, so not all that much going to be doing after the fact. Triple waiting up.
There's an ultimate coming out from Triple, lands on towards Seb, stuns him up. There's the repel coming out from Release, trying to get the safety, but falls on top of a Chelby. He's still alive though, kiting back, but Triple's doing the same on top of T-Gun's ultimate. They're also low underneath their turret, which is equally as low. Triple does get the poison down and picks up the first kill. Luch is trying to go back to base, but the minions are crashing on towards the turret as well.
Yeah, so all of a sudden now Chelby's in a position to potentially dive, will pull. Actually, backs away from it, so Luch will live to fight another day as well, and maybe Avant-Garde starting to slow the pace. They know they're ahead, no needless risks being taken. But you have to say that they just keep coming at you. They're like a freight train. They never really slow down.
This is dangerous though. Spawn 2 levels ahead. Paradise going to be able to take down this turret and just chase down Pac-Man if he chooses to, who smartly moves away from the huge Aurelia.
Yeah, gets the heck out of dodge. I think that's a good call as well. Aurelia not going for a damage build, instead picking up a Giant's Belt. See whether it's something a little bit hybrid, like a Dead Man's Blade or something, or if it's just outright defensive against what is double AD carry users.
Well, Seb is actually trying to make his way towards the top side of the map. Paradise trying to deal with a pink one, but backs away from it as both the Spider and the Toad trying to fight him. Meanwhile, the bottom side of the map, Avant were already able to get this turret down pretty low during that previous skirmish. They're looking to try and continue pushing for this one. T-Gun and Ray trying to do whatever they can to hold the minions off the turret and keep it alive for as long as they possibly can.
And I mean, if anyone should know this feeling, it should be Abyss, because this is exactly what they did last game to Rosie and Lost. Pac-Man being caught in transition here between turrets.
Paradise already has so much attack speed, just takes down the ward that's put on top of it. Shelby is able to smite away the Gromp for himself, which was being contested by Raid over the wall.
And it is only 4,000 gold right now, the advantage, closer to 5 actually, for Avant-Garde, which is pretty sizable, but it's more the fact that Abyss just aren't able to play with any priority on the map. You know, they've got a siege composition, but none of their waves are ever pushing. They think that they draft this composition, you know, with enough disengage. They have an Aurelia now who is incredibly fed and is going to assassinate either Raid or Luch as soon as she gets on top of them. So, as I said, gold lead is one thing, but the complete diffusal of your team composition is a whole nother level for of bad right now for Abyss Esports.
Certainly is that. That's a 5,000 gold lead, another level that will be added onto that. As Triple's picked up some major items with the Rylai's Crystal Scepter as his next pickup. And already completed that Morellonomicon earlier. 4-0-1. The two solo laners coming out from Avant-Garde are playing really well in this match. Aided by Chelby, who's been getting fantastic ganks off on this Rek'Sai.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, this is what we said. They're a top half of the map team that blows their bottom lane with all the utility they need to win. And I do think that right now the meta suits Avant-Garde incredibly well. I will be interested to see if we get more carry-oriented AD carries back in the meta, whether Chenny can adapt to that. We know that he's a massive Vayne player, at least in solo queue. But right now, all they have to be able to do is, you know, play Jhin, play Sivir, play Ashe, play a lot of Karma. You'll be able to pick up games, as they've proven times and times again.
Well, Avant-Garde were able to take down all of the outer turrets previously, so it's now 3 turrets to 1 in their favor as Chelby takes down the Cloud Dragon for himself. Next dragon this one will be another Ocean Dragon. Baron is up and available, so major objective on the map for Avant to take if they choose to do so, which they've already opened up this map quite nicely.
Yeah, they certainly have, and you can see that right now. They just don't really... They want to make a pick, they want to make a play, they just don't really know where it exists. And I said, it's because they can't ever push up these lanes. They can't ever play with any of that priority that they want, so... honestly, they just need to keep farming up, put the brakes on and stall out for as long as possible, but Paradise just won't let them.
He's definitely not. He's just running all around Pac-Man at the moment, getting some damage down wherever he possibly can. Luch actually in a lot of trouble here. Shelby's trying to flank around the Varus. Ghost already being popped by Luch, trying to run away. Jakey will get locked down by Cocoon, but there's a flash over the wall coming out from Shelby. He's taking a lot of damage. Paradise dashes into the back lines to pick up that kill. Now Abyss, they're kind of pinced here. They're going to run straight into Raid. Paradise gets him down to half health. A big ultimate comes out from Cassiopeia as well. They're all just flashing over the wall, but Ivana just
Paradise
chasing.
is going nuts.
He is in the backlines with the double kill, going for the triple that gets taken away by Jenny Boy, and all that's left is Pac-Man, but he gets taken down for the ace coming out for Avant-Garde.
And Avant-Garde just run all over Abyss Esports. I mean, Paradise gets onto Luch, then he gets onto Raid, and both AD carries just melt before the Aurelia. That's going to mean a 22-minute Baron with a Cassiopeia, and I don't know if there's anything Avant can do to send us around.
And it's not just a Baron that's going to be picked up here. They already have a 7,000 gold lead. That's going to make it 9,000 once this one falls. Paradise does flirt with danger, but it doesn't matter. Avant really looking strong in this game against Abyss.
Yeah, they're nearly up to 9,000 gold. They're going to go back and finish up so many key items. I mean, this is just Luke pathing the incorrect way. He needed to run up. The call should have been, you know, Paradise is already in our mid lane. And then Raid runs towards the same brush. I mean, keep running up, get away from the wall. Paradise is able to pretty much blow him up. Has to get flashed over the wall. Reset onto T-Gun. Reset onto Raid. Nearly a reset onto Seb, to be honest. But the rest of the team's there to follow through.
And that's really the pick that they were probably looking for most of this game. They've blown it wide open. 9,000 gold now. All the outer turrets gone. Complete control of the map. Paradise is split pushing with not only a Baron buff, but also the Herald buff that he picked up earlier is looking dire for Abyss at the moment.
Yeah, it certainly is. As I said, I just don't know whether there's any way to be able to come back from that because their team comp, it's a siege comp. And we always talk about this. Siege comps are fantastic when you're ahead. They're obnoxious to deal with. But it is also very hard to wrestle control back against a team fighting composition that has an Aurelia, that has that Cassiopeia that can pull the trigger, and they're both just massive right now.
Well, now Avant-Garde looking to try and siege up this mid lane in the turret with the Baron Duff minions, slowly pushing this one on towards Abyss's base, who have grouped up as 5, trying to defend this one for themselves.
And I honestly think that, you know, they're big enough to just dive right now. They're not pulling the trigger, because Jenny Boy is a little bit low, but you can just send, I was going to say T-Gun, don't send him, he's on the other team. Just send Shelby around behind the turret. Well, you know, just go back to your 4-1. There's no way that really right now Pac-Man can keep up with Paradise. He's 3 levels higher and 6-0, 3 or 4.
That actually seems exactly what Avant are going to do. They still have the Aurelia down in the bottom lane now. 3 members grouping up towards the mid lane. With Shelby deep into the jungle, actually going to go toe-to-toe against Seb there. Does get the knock-up. Jake is going to follow him. The repel does come out onto a pink ward, but he's locked down quite well. No flash available for the Elise. Shelby still chasing, gets sped up, knocks him up again. Boomerang Blade comes out from Jenny Boy, and they've already picked 1 member off.
Yeah, so they pick a member. All of a sudden, you know, they can go back to sieging that mid lane turret. A little bit of that disengage is gone. A little bit of the wave clear in the form of Elise. And AV, you know, they're playing this one much more slowly than I think we would have ever expected. But at only 25 minutes in, they're ripping open the map.
14-3, they are destroying at the moment. Pac-Man's trying to do what he can to save this turret from the clashes of Paradise. Gets eaten, but just runs straight back in. Now goes toe-to-toe against the toe. He does get locked down by a stun again. Kurtikal's going to try and help him out. He's dashing away from it, gets to safety. Not going to get locked down, but he's on the wrong side of the map. Abyss looking to try and take him down, but he's just dashing back and forth. This guy is a mastermind of escape as he gets away from the 2 carries of Abyss.
Yeah, and Paradise is just making it look easy. He's running circles around the whole team right now. Pac-Man has to burn the ulti to take Raid over to the other side of the map. But the damage is done. I mean, one of the outer turrets is broken. They've got rid of 2 of the ultimates out of Abyss Esports, so they can just reset and do it all again.
And they're doing just that. You can see everyone's heading back to base. Cassiopeia picked up the Ceres Embrace, or the Archangel Staff for now, looking to try and power that one up. You can see Shelby has that Dead Man's Play to go with his jungle item that's been completed. Even the Randuin's Omo coming out from Paradise here, so very tanky front line. Also lots of damage from Chenny Boy as he's looking for his Infinity Edge as his 3rd item.
Yeah, exactly right. And we already mentioned this, you know. Cassiopeia, as well as the Sivir, are just going to be able to do so much AoE damage. Then you have the resets coming out of the Aurelia, who at this stage of the game is just massive and cannot be dealt with. Has a GA now. it's just one of those things that Abyss, they need the game to go for 10, 15, 20 more minutes. They really need their AD carries to ramp up, get back into siege mode, maybe try and steal away something like a Baron or get a cheeky pick onto a Paradise or triple. But short of a Hail Mary, short of a miracle, it's just going to be very hard.
Unfortunately for Abyss, Baron buff is now down for Avant-Garde, but they are still 10,000 gold behind. And Ocean Dragon's going to be coming back up in 4 seconds. Doesn't look like there's any way for Abyss to try and contest for that objective. They're still waiting for the major power spikes themselves. Shelby's going to start this one off. The rest of Avant-Garde going to collapse in on shortly, except for Paradise, who is still split pushing on the top side of the map. And in fact, everyone from Abyss is just running up to try and stop him.
And you can see how much of this game means, because Paradise, he backs away from the wave. He is going to get slightly caught here, see if they can take him out.
Well, there's the Curtical slowing him down quite significantly. The fourth shot doesn't connect, but both Seb and Pac-Man still chasing him down.
They've actually already given up because mid lane's under fire.
They certainly are. Paradise now just has to try and run away from both Pac-Man and Seb. Does have a gun. He's able to keep himself alive. Dashes on towards his final lane. Goes toe-to-toe. Pops the ultimate, trying to keep himself alive. Will eventually go down, but at what cost? Seb actually has to try and run away from this one. He is so low as Paradise just chases him and dashes forward. Picks up the 2-on-1 play to take down the jungler. Now Pac-Man's trying to run, but Paradise doesn't let him. Locks him down, and he's got his friends up in the top lane now spawned. Pac-Man can flash all he wants, but they're just going to hunt this toad down.
Yeah, they certainly are. They lose out mid lane turret. I mean, Paradise wins a 1v2, and now Pac-Man falls as well. Everything is pretty much anything that could go wrong has gone wrong for Abyss. Just when they were on the brink of it, they have started to collapse.
They certainly have. Disaster strikes. Avant-Garde just pull even further ahead. 16-3 in kills, 5-1 in turrets, and most of the map being absolutely controlled by Avant-Garde. Abyss just really trying to hang on wherever they possibly can, but that might not even be enough at this stage in the game.
And one more time, it's just through their top laner. I mean, look at how much pressure Paradise is putting out on Summoner's Rift right now. Going towards probably a Mora or a Yomu's as his last item pickup. Means he's just going to have that little bit of extra damage that he needs to continue to win out on these 1v1s, 2v1s even. And, you know, cannot speak highly enough of Abyss Esports. Another young organization. They had to rebuild because 2 of their players not of age in Parble in general. Those guys are still hanging around in the OCS. You know, they bring in Seb, they bring in Pac-Man, they bring in T-Gun, an experienced member, as well as new AD carry even in Raid. They really did do the hard work throughout the regular season. They've got so close here. I mean, they're still hanging on barely by a thread.
They certainly are, and the playoff dreams of both of the previous OCS teams are still on the shoulders of Abyss. Avant-Garde, though, are looking really strong. 13,000 gold up, also able to take down the final outer turret in the game, which is in the top lane, meaning only the base is what is left standing between Abyss's Nexus and a brutal Avant-Garde. Paradise still split pushing down to the bottom side of the map. You can see the rest of Avant-Garde grouped up towards the top side around red buff on top of a pink ward, as Baron has actually respawned. First trinket already being used to try and spot it out. Shelby tries to wrap around Abyss. T-Gun even leaps backwards to avoid the gank coming out from the jungler, who's just moving down towards the top side of the map now.
Man, they're trying to use a little bit of Shelby's semi-global presence to add a little bit more pressure to this map, add a layer to what is now a 1-3-1 with a lot of Baron pressure. They're sweeping out the vision. They might want to start this one up quite soon.
Well, there's the next trinket ward being used by Abyss, and no trinkets left available and no wards put on towards this Baron pit. T-Gun has to be careful, runs forward, but Shelby flashes on top of him, going to be able to lock him down. They're now just chasing down Abyss spawn as they get lots of damage on towards their front line. Paradise is still split pushing on the bottom side of the map. Avant now could just pull the trigger onto Baron.
Yeah, it looks like that is going to be the case, although they're still waiting for the elusive pick. T-Gun still wants to get the vision in the pit.
And Avant looking to try and start this one up. The wards have gone down, but swept away quite nicely by Shelby. Goes over the wall. Big flash ultimate from Triple. Locks down Seb. Lucius jumped on by Paradise. He picks up the first kill. Seb has to repel away. Pac-Man's trying to do what he can, but he can't. Double kill comes out for Seb. Pac-Man can't stay alive against the 4-man squad of Avant, as now it's T-Gun that's in trouble. He wants the triple here, Paradise. Just going to chase the Braum down. Avant-Garde are just going to try and push through the base of Abyss.
Yeah, they certainly are. I mean, they have the tools. They have so much damage. And unfortunately, all of Abyss's wave clear is dead. It's only Raid, the rookie AD carry, left alive, and Avant-Garde want to end this game.
Well, Teleport is coming out from Paradise. They're committed to this Nexus spawn. 20-3 in kills. Raid has got a monstrous task ahead of him if he wants to keep their playoff dreams alive. They're pushing on towards the first Nexus turret. The hunt speed pop by Chenny Boy. Paradise just going in. Locks down Raid. Chenny Boy gets the crit. The ace will come out for Avant-Garde. And this will send Avant-Garde into the semi-finals. Once they can finally take down the Nexus turret, Seb and Luch are trying to do what they can, but it's just not enough. Pac-Man has to try and save him. They're on to the Nexus. It's gonna fall. Avant-Garde will be that fourth and final semi-finalist team.
Yeah, not until Paradise has gone 13-0-3. I mean, what a performance out of the top laner of Avant-Garde. Whew, they're a scary lineup. Like, I keep saying it, the whole of the OPL is just getting better from the bottom up. And, you know, Legacy, they regained top spot today. They regained the OPL Legend match, but now they have to play against Avant.
They certainly do, and congratulations to Avant-Garde for picking up that spot. But for now, we're going to throw it back to the analyst desk.
Thank you, Fish and Spawn. My goodness, congratulations to AV. They're now in that fourth semi-final spot. And Raz, Rusty, let's talk about the game before we go through the brackets and stuff. We saw another Cassie pick there, but Rusty, you were saying that it's a different kind of Cassie pick to what, or it's a different play style to what we'd seen from Tainted Minds.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really cool to have Tainted Minds playing it and focusing on the neutral objectives as their big win condition. But AV actually picked the Cassiopeia, and why she can kill neutral objectives is the exact same reason as to why she can get isolated kills, work around her team, and actually get ganks off and look for champions instead. And that's the beauty of how Avant-Garde work as a team. They actually want to kill champions and use that advantage to translate to the neutrals.
Exactly.
Yeah, Raz, run us through that game. What were your sort of highlights from that game? What were the decisive moments there?
Right, it always comes back to the champion picks themselves, right? Because I actually am not opposed to the picks that that Abyss had. It was kind of a lot riskier. If they ever fell behind, it would just be a wash from that point on, as we saw. But of course, they had the lanes, they had their early priority, they had the poke, right? But it really just came down to that mid lane fight that just really went disastrous. Pac-Man didn't really have like TP in early, and it was just a poor setup to start. After that point fell through, it was just like it felt lost from then.
So I think the big thing, honestly, is like, yeah, they drafted for poke, and yes, they set themselves up, but it just felt so convoluted from them to actually look towards this. Ideally, again, a LeBlanc instead of having that Varus in the middle lane, give them an avenue of attack that is sieging, not just poking. LeBlanc can still poke. She actually does well into the Cassiopeia lane, or at least goes even. Like, it's impossible to kill her, but really what happened was because of that, they started to struggle because of the ganks and kills that Shelby was just outclassing the jungle role, surprisingly. Everyone just fell behind.
Yeah. All right, well, I'll come back to you guys in a second, but let's just go through the completed bracket right now that we have. On Monday, we're going to see the Legacy versus Avant-Garde. That is the first semi-final. It's going to be 6 p.m. right here. Next, on Tuesday, 6 p.m., we're going to see Direwolves versus Chiefs. Those are our two semi-finals in that playoff bracket. I mean, Rusty, seeing how AV just played then, if you're Legacy, would you rather be facing the Chiefs, or are the Chiefs still the hardest, team in that lower bracket?
No one wants to play against the Chiefs. Would you rather play against anybody or the Chiefs? I'd say at this point, they're just the best team really when they're on their best days. But for Legacy in particular, you'd always want to have AV, as would Direwolves and Chiefs if they got to choose out of the top four. It's hard fought for them to get here, but if they can play on form, AV are very scary.
Yeah, it was pretty much like a battle of hot lava, the first place position. Whoever got second, you're like, all right, we're going right into the Chiefs game. But honestly, like this Avant versus, it was Legacy, right? Avant versus Legacy, that's not a foregone conclusion either. I think that Avant, they've shown that they are, and throughout the entire split, they've been a very proactive team, and they have the lanes for
themselves. But Avant have beaten Legacy before, right? Back in the early half of Split 2, that they did. So it is possible. It is possible. Avant could go all the way.
Yeah. That's the scary thing, right? If you think about it, the top lane of Avant is so strong. That's how Legacy win the map. The same thing goes for middle lane. Triple stepping up huge. I think AV can do it.
Sure. Well, let's take a look at the schedule for the rest of the week. These games are going to be the OPL Legend match, Legacy versus Avant-Garde. That's Monday night, 6 p.m. And then Tuesday, 6 p.m. We're going to be seeing Direwolves versus Chiefs. Interesting to see it that if you look at that lineup, because the belt, the Legacy, the Legends belt has made it. You could call it the Legacy belt, I guess, because The Bell has made it into semis now. It means that the winner of Split 2 of the OPL, of the 2016 OPL, will be the Legends title holder as well, which is kind of, I mean, yeah, that's
the
cool.
cherry on top, effectively, for these teams, right? Having the Legends title, the prestige that now seems to come behind this is pretty cool for these teams.
Oh, wow. So that is, what a way to end this, oh my goodness, this regular season. Next week, semi-finals right here, 6 p.m. Monday and Tuesday. On behalf of me, Hingers, with Raz and Rusty, it's good night from us and everyone here at the broadcast team. See you next time.